Hey, welcome everybody. This is John Paul Mendoza, Dr. Speed Selling. This is the next edition, the next episode of the Raging Verbalist, and we're Raging Verbalist number 144. If you are a longtime viewer, welcome back. Just got here. Well, you have found the right spot. You can always check this out on YouTube, on the YouTube channel. If you get there, of course, hit and smash the like and subscribe and hit notifications if you want to be annoyed by YouTube a lot, whatever that makes sense. All right. Also, we're on Facebook, so you can go to the Position to Win book group. Position to Win book, close enough. You should be able to find it and all that. Now, with me as always to step in for you to make sure that your questions get answered on the topic at hand is the ever lovely Sandra. Welcome, Sandra.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm doing well. This is Labor Day, and we are rushing under labor on this one. So talk to me about what our topic is and what we have to go through.
All right, so you said Labor Day, it's that time of year. So tell us, what is the history of Labor Day?
Well, back in the 1800s, I know for some of you who think that anything before about 1999 was ancient history. So way back in the day in the 1800s, trade unions, labor unions wanted to recognize the rise of the prominence of labor and labor unions, and they started pushing for a holiday for doing this, so that way we could celebrate labor, because obviously people had moved off the farm. Sandra understands that she moved off of the farm herself, but she did not in the 1800s, unless this was like one of these time travel things.
I'm a time traveler, spoiler alert.
Yeah, and we're gonna get a bidding war between Netflix and Hulu and Paramount Plus to see who wants to buy that story. So when this one, we just watched the corn grow. Yeah, it's exciting. Time lapse. So anyway, so the 19th century, it was where it started, and then they started doing parades and celebrations. In fact, the first parade was in New York City. Big surprise, but New York City, and it was in 1887. And states started to recognize it, and the real key is that it became a federal holiday in 1894, at which time 30 states had already ratified and said, yep, this is a cool holiday. Let's do a Labor Day, which they made the first Monday in September. For those of you who are globalists, you may know that May 1st for those guys in the communist side of things celebrate May 1st, which is their kind of version of Labor Day, but we're not talking about that today. Okay, what's the next question?
All right, so fast forward to now, this time period. Are there any special celebrations that happen on Labor Day?
Well, there are in fact parades, and there are all kinds of events that get planned. I think that Labor Day has kind of changed because labor itself has changed. I mean, we do things a lot differently than we did before. We have a bunch of people who are remote workers. So I guess how would you do a remote parade? I mean, I guess what do? Well, and then you have people who have stand-up desks. Does that mean you kind of march in your stand-up desk or something, or hold up a little placard or something? But there are special events that are planned, and usually people come up with all kinds of things for that. So yes.
All right, so how do you usually celebrate Labor Day?
Well, I actually celebrate Labor Day in kind of an interesting way, which is that we like to, since we are traveling, usually in the end of August, a little holiday, is that what I do is I actually am going to be in Bishop, California, and Bishop has a little fair for Labor Day, and I just hope that my wife doesn't spend too much money there. So that's how I usually celebrate Labor Day, is we do that.
All
How
right.
about yourself? What do you do for Labor Day?
I'm kind of boring in the fact that I don't really celebrate Labor Day. Well, I'm not like working at work, but I tend to use that time to get stuff done at home, and which is a great time. You have the whole day to just get things done, get some errands accomplished with whoever's open, I guess. And then now that we're in a new home, there's a lot more to do. But I did celebrate with my pumpkin spice latte already on September 1st. It's that time of year.
So for those of you who don't know, there is a huge ritual, and that ritual is, of course, that we are all going to go out and buy our pumpkin spice latte because the people at beautiful Starbucks finally released this, and then the whole world is going to start opening up to pumpkin spice. So I guess that's the new official way to do it. So
That's right.
and I know that you wait all year. You have a big calendar on the wall, and you're just marking X's and watching it work your way down. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
So, all right. So
Besides pumpkin spice latte,
yeah.
how is this Labor Day different now than in 2020 and 2021?
Well, I've got recollections of both holidays. So 2020 and 2021, we did not travel. We did not get to Bishop. We had the pandemic. I know I'm saying that out loud. Ooh, and all of that. Well, in 2020, I was a little PO'd because of the fact that we were told that in just mere weeks, we would be wrapping this thing up. We would be all said and done. I mean, how many days did they say that this whole thing was gonna, we're gonna lock down for how many days, and then it was gonna be contained? What was that
It
originally?
was the whole 14 days to stop the spread, which feels like 14 years.
Well, and of course it got locked down the week that we launched the book. Most businesses fail in the first 5 minutes. So, worst timing to ever pick to launch a book, which was March, which was actually St. Patrick's Day. I guess that's March 17th every year, but St. Patrick's Day of 2020. And so by the time we got to, Labor Day, and everything was locked down. I hadn't been to a restaurant, we hadn't been to movies, and so that kind of sucked. And then 2021, that was a whole different deal, because the 2021, I just remember how uneven everything was. I mean, obviously we were, trying to get stabs and jabs if that was what you were doing. Some of you were out there not doing that, and started traveling again. And I remember going into a little diner in New York City, and I had to give them my name and my phone number so the state of New York could track me, just in case I was the demon seed, the typhoid Mary, the super spreader, the sprayer, and all that. And they had these big plastic partitions between tables, and it was very weird. And from there, I flew to Dallas, Texas, and it was if none of this existed. By the way, I didn't get COVID at either place. So yeah, so 21 again, didn't travel, didn't go anywhere, and all of that. So yeah, so 2022, we're back to quasi normal. Though yesterday I was in a store, and there was a person who was wearing a mask, and she was obviously worked in a medical facility by her outfit, unless she just kind of like wore cool scrubs all day long and says, "Hey, I want to pretend I work in a medical place." And she had on a cloth mask, and I felt like just smacking her in the head. Not metaphorically, okay, for all of you who are worried about violence and all that, but maybe she needed to be knocked in the head, because that mask doesn't do a damn thing, because of course, the molecules are too big. I mean, it just, I mean, it was color coordinated, but it was not an N95, wasn't the right kind of mask. So that's how it was different before, is that we were dealing with all that nonsense.
All right. So is Labor Day back to school time?
Well, it sure was when I grew up, but that was a long while ago. And of course, we went back to school the day after Labor Day, and it was always like, okay, really? I mean, we got to go start doing this, and it was like, well, can't we wait till the following Monday? But yeah, so that it was back to school, and all the back to school sales. I remember my mother would drag me and my brother, usually my sister who's older, would drive us over, and we'd have to buy all the stuff ready for school, because of course we had to be ready for that next time. Oh, by the way, there were strict requirements on how large a crayon box you could bring, because at a certain age you could only bring in 8 crayons, and as you got older you got to graduate to 16 crayons. I think my father thought this was some kind of, nonsensical, scam to make him buy more crayons every year, because you went from 8 to 16 to 32. Never did allow us to go all the way to the big one, which was 64. I know for all of you who are sitting there with your iPhone or Android and you have 16 million billion zillion colors, that was like a big deal. You could get the, so, and I remember I had to save up to buy my own 64 crayon. So bring us more to a more modern age. Again, I just, part of what I get to do is share this, but also it's cheaper than therapy. So explain your situation and all of that, and then maybe you can give us a more modern reference.
Well, I personally never got the 64 pack of crayons, and it even came with a built-in sharpener. I remember those big boxes, and I was so upset.
Yeah,
Anyway.
and then if you went to a knockoff store, like if you went to Kmart, they didn't have the real crayon brand, which my father always said was just the same, but it wasn't like
it didn't color the same. It's a lie.
It just wasn't the same. And they didn't give you a sharpener. Yeah, they gave you more colors, but there was no sharpener. Oh yeah. Don't try to give me a down thing. Anyway, okay, so sorry that you never got the 64. This is something that we'll have to think about, but yeah.
That's right. Well, I was going to say it's crazy because my niece, she started August 9th in school. And then all my other nieces and nephews were already in school by August 16th. And one of my sister-in-laws is a teacher. So she was right back with them. And it's just like, I can't believe how early it's starting. And like, they're already doing their back to school shopping like July, and school had just ended the beginning of June. So I don't know, kids these days don't get time off. And I remember I used to get until Labor Day at our little country school. So I was a fortunate one there.
Well, all I can say is for all of you who are out there who are wondering what is the absolute best thing that you can get anybody for back to school. And it's two books that I can think of right now. First off is most businesses fail in the first 5 years. It's never too early to get somebody thinking like an entrepreneur. And so most businesses fail in the first 5 minutes. It just takes them 3 to 5 years to realize it. You can get it at positiontowinbook.com. You can get it at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, wherever books are sold. And you can ask for the physical book and they'll get it to you. But only way you get it autographed is if you come to positiontowinbook.com. Also, you can get it in every digital method possible. Oh, wrong way. And there you go. Check that out. And then you can go and get Remote Work for a Better World and find out how everybody didn't do remote work like they should have. So you can check that out. That's available exclusively on Kindle. And I do not have a green screen, so it is doing weird things. So let me see if I can get this back and going. And then Sandra, hit me with your best shot. I think I've just stalled here. What is going on? Oh, I'm back alive.
All right.
Yeah. The joys of using high speed, which is of course high speed. Nobody knows what the hell that means. Okay, next question.
All right. What are the changing trends as far as sales for Labor Day?
Well, I can tell you one of the changing trends. So obviously we're starting to do back to school in June, and we're starting to accelerate everything. And I was sitting in the bank yesterday waiting to conduct some business, and this woman spontaneously started talking, erupting, and going over the fact that, guess what? Costco, where they had just come from, was packed with all of the Christmas stuff. So here Sandra gets her pumpkin spice latte, the first one of the season. She just picks it up, and now we're already into Christmas shopping. So it appears that we're jamming it all together. It just seems like the sales are happening sooner than later.
Yes, that's for sure. And you mentioned that this was your least favorite holiday growing up. So why is that?
Well, it was my least favorite holiday because, it really it was the end of summer. Now, I mean that there used to be lots of rules, like you couldn't wear white after Labor Day. By the way, there's a very funny use of that in a movie called Serial Mom. It's a John Waters film, so just keep that in mind as a warning. But it's a very funny thing about having wearing white after Labor Day was like a faux pas or something. But it was my least favorite because, of course, it meant time to go back to school. Summer was over. I really liked, especially when I was younger, really liked summer. We, ride bikes, go play soccer in the park, go hang out, do all that stuff. So that was why it was my least favorite. It was like, because this is like, yep, when you hear that bell that it's going to be Labor Day, that means that next Tuesday, you're going to have to wake up and get back to school and get working. Now, it doesn't mean that I didn't like to learn, but I was not a fan. Early days, I got kicked out of a lot of schools until I found, what was really a great school for me.
All right, so now that it's already September, how should one prepare for the rest of the year?
Well, it should give you somewhat of a shock and a surprise. 8 months are down. We have how many months left, right? We have only 4 months left, and you want to make the most of it. And this is a really important thing that you want to do. Also, if you have not already done so, my suggestion is you immediately do it, which is go out and buy a calendar for at least 2023. I just recently received, like this last week, the 2023-2024 calendars, because I'm already planning out events, planning out things that need to do, things that have to happen. Do not be surprised. It is astonishing to me how many people are surprised because they don't manage time. So my suggestion is that you find a way to maximize the amount of things that get done between now and the end of the year, because you still have some time left. You have 4 months, and to which you can make all those things that you wanted to have happen. So go out and do that.
All right, and how do you maximize your business now that we're hitting more serious time?
Well, yeah, I always looked at Labor Day once I got into business, and then eventually sales, and then running businesses and turning around. Is that by the time you get to September, you get to lose the excuses for a while, because there's always the summer excuse. Well, I'm going on holiday, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Everybody's got an excuse as to why they can't do something in the summertime. Got July 4th, got to do this, got this. It's over. The kids are back in school. You can't come up with any more excuses. It's time to get off your butt and buy something and go do something. So what I would say is that you should maximize your time. You should definitely get in touch with everybody. Think about what you're going to promote for the fall and do that big push. Also, if you're in a business where you have to deal with the fat man, that would be Santa, then you have to make sure that you are not caught out on that, because I can tell you right now, I'm involved in two businesses where people are already talking about what's going to happen at Christmas, and what's going to take place. So you definitely want to take this serious time and get a lot done. There's a lot that can be done in the next 90, 120 days, maybe 110 days, because the last 10 days of the year kind of get blown away. And then if you are in a business that is aided and abetted by the fat man, now you got to think about all the promotions you have to do. I remember years ago, I was actually driving from Phoenix to Las Vegas, and get a call from a client of mine. It's 3 days before the Labor Day weekend. He goes, sales have been a little rough. Can you put together a promotion online and this is one of the things we did for him, for Labor Day? And I said, well, okay. So I was in Kingman, Arizona, wide spot and highway, by the way, and conceived to put together in about 3 hours a great promotion, which worked out very well for his Labor Day. The sad part about it is that this guy loved to have that close reaction time. Big mistake. Better to start planning this stuff now. So what are you going to do for Christmas? What are you going to do for Thanksgiving, Halloween? What are you going to do for all of the dates that are coming up? And you may have noticed there's a creeping crud, I call it, of various things that we have to recognize. Every day is some special day for something. So yeah, you got to get serious about it between now and the end of the year. I wish you a great Labor Day, and I hope that what you're going to do is actually take some time and consider what you want to accomplish. Some people take it off. Some people go out and have that last fling for summer. Depends where you live and depends what you're going to do. And what I can tell you is that you have within yourself the ability to go out and be successful and do what you need to do. So for myself, John Paul Mendoza, Dr. Speed Selling, and for the ever lovely Sandra, this has been the Raging Verbalist number 144, and we'll be seeing you here next week.